You know how we think of our dreams as these weird, random movies our brain plays for us at night? Well, what if there's something more? What if they're actually this incredibly smart engine, working on our problems while we sleep? Let's dive into how our brains might be doing exactly that. Right? We all do it. We wake up and try to piece together the plot. What was the story? Was there a beginning, a middle, an end? We're always looking for the narrative, because we just assume that's what a dream is supposed to be.
But this analysis we're looking at suggests a totally different way of thinking. What if we're asking the wrong question? Instead of asking what our dreams mean, maybe we should be asking what they do. And it looks like what they do is solve problems.
To really get this, we can't just look at one dream at a time. That's like trying to understand a whole movie by looking at a single frame. The real magic happens when you see them as a connected system, something that unfolds over weeks or even months. The key idea here has a fancy name: strain propagation. But really, it's pretty simple. All that stress and the problems you didn't solve during the day, they don't just vanish when you go to sleep. Nope, they stick around, and your brain runs them over and over again, night after night, almost like it's testing them out in different simulations to see what might work. Okay, so if it's a system, how do we decode it? Well, the research points to two secret keys, two different layers we have to pull apart: the theme of the dream and its governing emotion. Think of it like this. The theme is the what. It's the basic problem structure. What is actually wrong in this dream? But the governing emotion is the how. How does this whole scenario feel? Is it urgent, irritating, anxious? You absolutely need both to understand what your brain is trying to do. They work together. All right, let's make this feel a little more real. We're going to follow a single, unresolved problem, a strain, as it works its way through one person's dreams for an entire month. Let's call it the story of December. Now here's the cool part. The dreamer's brain didn't just hit replay on the same dream. The problem actually evolved. It started out as this raw physical feeling, then it morphed into a social problem, and finally it became this super high-level, abstract thing. Let's break down each of these phases. So, at the beginning of the month, the problem felt super physical, super urgent. The theme was all about blocked flow. You know, dreams where you're desperately looking for a bathroom but can't find one, or there's anxiety about pipes that are about to burst. The feeling was just intense, immediate pressure. But that feeling doesn't just go away. Instead, it just changes its disguise. By the middle of December, that exact same strain of being blocked had transformed. Now the problem wasn't a blocked pipe, it was workplace discrimination. That feeling of being stuck wasn't about a toilet, it was about trying to fly away but your power keeps failing. It even showed up as a stolen car, a total loss of mobility while people just stood by and did nothing. The brain had tried the problem physically, now it was trying it socially, but it still wasn't solved. So, where could it possibly go from there? This is where it gets really wild. In the last part of the month, the brain just zoomed all the way out. The problem became about abstract ideas. It wasn't just about me being blocked anymore, it was about systemic unfairness, like competition over resources or hoarding seats in a classroom. And then, for the grand finale, the dreamer had a dream about creating a mathematical formula for belief itself. Wow! The brain went from running from the problem to literally trying to write the code that explains it. So this whole progression, from toilets to math, might seem totally random, right? But it's not. There's a hidden logic to it. So, what are the rules of this incredible problem-solving engine? This is what's so remarkable. The analysis found these incredibly stable pairings. As you can see here, certain themes and emotions almost always show up together. A dream about discrimination, it's consistently governed by moral irritation. A dream about blocked flow, urgent pressure. The system isn't just throwing random feelings at a problem. It's using specific emotions to flag specific kinds of issues. And according to the research, there's a very clear reason why. This repetition, this pairing of an emotion and a theme, is the brain's way of telling itself that a problem is sticking around. It's like a notification that keeps popping up with the same alert sound, basically saying, hey, pay attention, this thing is not new and we still haven't figured it out. And this isn't all just some abstract work happening inside our heads. The connection to our actual daily lives is incredibly direct. In this study, a full 40% of the dreams were clearly linked to specific things that happened during the day. You know, like a tough ethical choice at work, a big presentation, or a hard problem you were trying to solve. So when we put all these pieces together, we start to see this huge shift in the brain's strategy,
a move the research calls from escape to governance. So what does that even mean? What is the brain ultimately trying to do here?
Well, the analysis showed this profound change over time. In the months before December, the dreamer's main goal was just escape, flying away, finding an exit, just getting some kind of release. The goal was simple: get out. But by December, that wasn't working anymore. So the dreams changed. They became about sticking with it, about friction, about analysis. The goal wasn't to escape, it was to figure it out.
And that brings us to the final model of how this all works. It's basically a 5-step loop. First, a problem from your day creates a need. Then, your dreams turn that need into a theme, held in place by a specific emotion. If that doesn't solve it, your brain tries again in a totally new domain, moving from the physical to the social to the abstract. And if the problem sticks around long enough, the brain just stops trying to run and starts trying to build a model to understand the problem's very core. So the huge takeaway here is this: your brain isn't just telling you bizarre stories at night. It's running thousands of incredibly complex simulations, testing your unsolved problems against all these different scenarios, all in an effort to regulate your emotional and mental state. It is, quite literally, your personal problem-solving engine.
Which really just leaves us with one last question to think about. The next time you wake up from a really weird dream, don't just ask yourself what it was about. Ask yourself what it was for. What lingering problem, what unresolved strain is your personal dream system working on tonight?